That's a 37. That won't work for me.
YouTube is live.
Welcome, hello. David is trying to figure out what he's gonna wear. This is our lives. He spends more time trying to figure out how to get out of the house than I do.
Oh, come on now.
It's true, and you know it. Tell me I'm wrong.
I will indeed tell you you're wrong. I'm just putting this back on.
Great, it looks good. Can't go wrong.
I'm sorry to whoever bought this already.
David will have worn it for two
I
live streams.
will have worn it for a total of maybe an hour and a half.
Max.
Oh, we did 45 minutes the first time. If we do,
Yeah,
if we do that again.
Yeah. Welcome, happy afternoon, happy Rare Finds and Oddities Day. It is a pleasure to see you. If you're joining us today,
You're in casual mode.
I'm in casual mode, I guess. I tried to put on the Kage pants to show you what those looked like at the last minute, and they do not fit up on me.
Well, they're a size small.
They are size small, and I am not a size small. Now we all know for sure. I thought maybe I could squeeze into them, but nope.
Yep.
But they are really solidly made pants. I was like,
You really put the effort in. But
yeah, no such luck.
the Discord's been hopping.
Yes, the Discord's been very busy.
It's been a very fun. It's been a really fun day.
We revealed that, in fact, we have talked about doing a Volante Con. It's not the first time this joke has. It's not even really. It's not a joke for us, but I know that in some ways it's like.
It feels like a joke, but in fact,
We really love
it only feels like a joke because it's like, when are we going to plan that? And how are we going to get all that together?
Well, by Q4 this year, we should have made concrete plans, or it won't happen next year.
Or yes, right. Because if it's going to happen, it has to happen in the last week of April, obviously.
Yeah, it has to happen at this time of year. That might compete with PAX. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, anyway, hello everyone. This is our second live stream of the day.
I put lipstick on twice today. You can't eat a sandwich and then also it doesn't look good afterwards.
It probably looks fine from that distance.
No, it looks like I'm wearing that 90s lip liner that is much darker on the edges. It does not look fine.
Cool. What are we doing here today?
We are here to talk about rare finds and oddities. What's a rare find?
A rare find is a design or a garment that is made that is more or less a one of a kind. It's usually a prototype or some sort of sample or test or something like that, where we might have made a few changes from that before it went into production model, or this might be the production model, like the one that I'm wearing. Might be basically the production model, but in a colorway we've never made before.
It's sharp in this color.
It does look really nice.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've been really feeling the dark blue and orange lately.
Yeah,
so it's a sharp combination.
The other side of the spectrum are oddities. These are things with a small error or a small mistake or a little hole, but probably something, we would never sell you something that we don't think is extremely usable. So there are a few items here
This is an oddity.
That is an oddity. It's backwards.
It's backwards. We didn't realize it.
We weren't the ones sewing it, but it was cut backwards, and then it was sewn backwards.
And we caught it at some point, but there are a few that made it through before we realized just what we'd done. The weird thing about, or the interesting thing, the thing I like about it is the fact, A, this looks awesome, but B, the distribution of color between the red and the black is almost exactly the same. So we didn't run out of fabric.
Yeah.
We had the right amount of fabric to cut because this is 50% black, 50% accent color.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I thought.
Yeah, we kind of didn't, I don't know how we didn't catch it, but we didn't catch it.
Yeah.
And anyway, there were a few of these. There are not a lot left. This is a great example of an oddity. This is an eagle, a revolutionary, it's heavy, a 37 men's wax cotton canvas eagle. It is in every way good except the hood. This was a shipping thing. We got it back, and this is a stain that you could probably get out if you ironed it with contact paper and then re-waxed it. You could potentially get the stain out, but it's just not going to be practical for us to do that. You could also certainly wear it without the hood. Or you could put some other stains on it and it would look real battle hardened. I think there's a lot of options. Like the oddities, we never put something in here that we don't think has value. We put stuff in here that isn't correct. We have one Cormac, we have 2 Aiden Pierce jackets, and this one Eagle / Kenway. So there are very few little things I think left over from
There have been
a
2
previous era.
There have been 2 drops today
3.
since.
Let's not count. I won't count. I'll stay out of the count. There have been 4
There
today.
have been 4 total, but since our last live stream, there have been 2 drops, and we got into 3 pages. And there's a lot of fun stuff. We added in a bunch of. I mean, some of these things stick around for multiple rare finds. That's just how it is.
Because someone who's size 37 just might not come along.
Finding the right person and having them have that, having the inclination and having the budget and all that stuff, all the stars align. That's why we try to do these in like one burst. It's just being like helping to some of the stars to align in one place and say, we're going to do this at this time. Get ready. But anyway, so there's some things like the last couple of bounty hunters.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just the last ones.
Yep.
Someone asked, what pieces are you surprised haven't sold in rare finds?
That's always a good question. I'm surprised that the shirts that are like $95 haven't sold.
Yeah.
Or like $85 because they're like there's nothing wrong with them. They just happen to be the last one.
I think
I think they would fit women pretty well. Like I think there's a good enough set of options that they just haven't gotten snapped up yet.
The Mirror Universe Trek jackets for me.
Yeah.
They look really good. And when I first put I put one on, we don't have a 39 anymore, but I put it on and I was like, this is actually really solid. It's not screen accurate, but none of our stuff is screen accurate.
No.
It still feels like Trek, and it's they're really cool. And I was actually surprised that there were still a couple of mega jackets and proto jackets.
Oh my God, yeah. And they're also at the deepest discount of all time.
Yeah.
Someone asked, will you ever do a collection for Cyberpunk or Deus Ex?
You got to take that one.
The Augment collection is originally inspired by Deus Ex. Somewhat explicitly, in that the original design, like the original sort of text and stuff written for the Augment V1 was all like pretty hardcore explicit in terms of inspired by. So will we ever do a licensed Deus Ex collection?
So we've reached out to them a number of times, and they keep making these contracts which don't allow them to sign more than one licensing retailer.
Okay. By keep making, she means the one time we spoke to anybody.
That's true.
In like 2015, they had already they already had an exclusive apparel deal with Mustard Brand, who no longer exists.
That's correct.
So
after that, I think they were maybe a little burned, and they were not so responsive to us.
yeah, or there wasn't another game since then.
That's also true.
Yeah. If they ever bring back Deus Ex as a franchise, we will definitely consider it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I mean, it has a good
The aesthetic is awesome. It's there. The Cyberpunk brand from that CD Projekt Red is working on. We would also be interested in doing that. I don't have an answer to whether or not we can or will or what.
Yeah. Licensing Expo is in May, which is in Las Vegas, and that's where you go and you try and meet people and you say, we should really do a collaboration between your brand and ours. Here's what we have to offer. They talk about what they're interested in, and then you do this long and drawn out courtship dance of, what about a minimum guarantee of $5,000? No? Okay, what about $10,000? What about, it's like a bidding sort of, it's like a whole process.
It's a whole process.
It takes years sometimes, especially if there are multiple studios and if like the head studio is not in an English-speaking country, there's always like more steps because it's like, well, the Japanese office likes this part. They don't understand what you're offering here. Yada, yada, yada.
Or they don't have a licensing team, or so that makes things more complicated from their end, or they have never done anything like what we do, and they don't
quite get it.
If the licensing representative doesn't get what we're doing, it's a very hard pitch.
Yes. or they're just not ready for it. We've had 2 calls in the last couple months where we're like, we love what you're doing with the game, we love your style, and they're just like, we would love to, but we don't quite know how to handle
What's
it.
going on right now?
Or yeah, what's going on right now? The world is certainly not conducive to like good new partnerships and trade stuff. It's like, okay, let's just secure what we can handle. I think a lot of people are in that boat where they're just like, nothing new that's hard, nothing new that's innovative.
It's funny because the gaming industry is like looking for money in a lot of ways. Like things are, you know, what it means in sales of games. It's all very confusing and challenging, and a game that should succeed can fail. And you would think that would make them interested in getting more merch and getting, you know, like an expanding, but it really just makes everybody sort of tighten up.
Yeah.
So that can be a mitigating factor for us.
Someone asked, will you ever bring back the Master of Wills or Automata women's full skirt vests?
Nice question. So the Master of Wills was a great partnership with some lovely creative people that we're unlikely to bring back. However, the design is really a cool one, and I could see us doing a new version that's different. It won't be the same thing.
Yep.
I think the Automata vest is also probably like a ship has sailed, but there could be something new. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good design.
It was a really good design. Yeah, you did a good thing.
And so did Yoko Taro.
Yeah, it helps when the inspo is cool.
Yeah. It's been a fun conversation on the Discord today.
Yep, they've been talking about VolanteCon, which would be really cool to do.
Yeah.
We're in one of those old mail buildings, if you are not aware, where there are lots of weird old empty spaces, some more polished than others.
I feel like
we could rent that studio upstairs, that ballroom sort of space.
We could also just rent like a hotel.
Conference room.
And
so we can make notes on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like, anyway, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
There's plenty of small hotels.
We
around
should
here
plan
that
it
have
on
little
a food truck Friday. Then there will also be food
That's
trucks.
even better.
We also there's a couple of breweries around the corner, so we could do like a mini brewery tour / food truck tour / fashion week. It sort of doesn't go together, does it?
It becomes less of your standard con and more of just like, come and hang out with us and see the space, I guess.
Yeah.
And then hang out with each other mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
We could do I think we could do like a collection reveal and like do a fashion walk. We'd need models for every product, but it would be cool.
That would be cool. It almost works.
It could launch.
In the timing.
It could launch at that time.
You're pushing it.
We would launch it the day after it has, or the week after after our con. Then our audience would get.
We could just launch exclusive pre-orders for the people who are at the event,
yeah.
and then we could launch the thing when we plan to launch it.
Yeah.
Whenever that is.
Yeah. Come on, that would be super fun.
It would be cool. I can only assume that people are excited about that idea.
In our original concept of the con, we would also have like custom slots that would be ready at the con. So you would like, either you would come and get it tailored to you, or you'd pick it up at the show or at the con. So then we'd have to like organize everything in advance. But then it would be like, you could come and you could walk in your new custom thing on our runway, which would I think be like a box of crates, or like a series of. I can't imagine us like doing a full runway. I imagine us doing some kind of.
It would be gaffer's tape on the floor,
exactly.
You know. Yeah, like I could sew a jacket. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Could be fun. We've always
people.
joked about taking a sewing machine to cons and just being like.
And just projections.
Which would be so. I mean, nobody
it would be a fun way to do it.
Nobody ever does that. I don't see why we don't do it sometimes.
You could just get an extra 10 by 10 space and set up a tiny like Volante workshop
Studio,
with some like cut pieces and bring those in and just sew 10 jackets over the course of the weekend.
I mean, that would be a great marketing stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not actually we did anything with those jackets, it would be really cool.
All right, we got a few questions here. Shoes are a different beast from clothing, but maybe Volante shoes, question mark?
Yes, it's always been on the list.
It's always been on the long list.
Yeah. We will not be making them, so that we would need more collaboration from someone who is specialized in shoes. A couple of brands I would love to work with.
Go ahead.
Trippin. It's a German brand. They do in-house. They make their shoes in Germany, and they make really beautiful handmade stuff. I love their shoes. If you ever have a chance to buy some, buy some.
It'd be awesome to do a Fluvog collaboration.
It would be awesome to do a Fluvog collaboration. Another great shoe brand, if you like fun shoes, adventurous shoes. Are there other shoe brands that you'd be like, I'd love to work with them?
I mean, I wear a lot of Docs, but I don't know if, yes, if I'm saying, bucket list, I don't know. Is it on my bucket list? But yeah.
Docs, yeah.
If Docs was like, yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, they're basically in the Gilded Carbon color scheme anyway.
They're built up. They're like designed in the Gilded Carbon color scheme. And just make, I would just get them to make that one pair of Docs that I've always worn that was only made in the women's shoe, and just make that in the men's, in men's sizing. And add some details. I don't know.
Someone asked, do y'all still take custom orders?
We do very occasionally take custom orders for a subset of our customers who know our product base really well. So part of why we've made the barrier to entry fairly high for custom is not because we wouldn't like to take lots of custom orders, but because our capacity is fairly small. And by the time you've acquired 10 to 20 coats, you know what you like and you know what we do.
Yep.
So there's no surprises for you along the way.
Yeah, it makes it, So Diamond tier, we have a loyalty program, and the Diamond tier, the top tier, gets one custom slot a year. And
however, we are going to be doing one for the Discord for our YouTube name. There occasionally a custom slot comes up for some other reason, some non-monetary reason. And usually it's my fault.
It's always your fault.
It's always my fault. You're welcome.
The one time we've done it so far, it's been your fault.
We've done it in other moments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not that particular move, but other similar kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Someone said, what do you do with all the fabric scraps? Maybe you could do some fun stuff with them at a con, or make stuff to do ketchup tests.
Yes. So would you like to answer this one?
Yeah. To be honest, our fabric scraps end up in the trash. There isn't a really good way to do anything with them. The way that our production method works, we use a computer program to do all our patterning, and we use that same computer program to nest all of those pieces into an extremely efficient cutting path. Because of that, and because our pieces are so small and so interestingly shaped, they actually nest really well. And our fabric efficiency, our usage efficiency is maybe 20% higher than industry standard. Our labor efficiency isn't, but
but our cutting, the more pieces, the more you get out of your material.
Yeah.
And we looked into recycling and upcycling and various other options, and at our volume, there just isn't somebody who would come and take our scrap.
Yeah.
But we could certainly do
the
some
scraps are
tests
usually not bigger than that.
Yeah, it's true.
Someone asked, have you talked about / can you talk about what you're bringing to PAX?
We can, but we haven't. We will bring some new things that you haven't seen before, and some old standards, I think, some old faithfuls. That's kind of the shortest version. And then you'll just have to come and see what there is.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked, besides the Kage pants, are there any more designs from the ninja-inspired lineup that you're considering revisiting?
Besides the Kage pants, we're also making Sekko pants.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making another pair of pants, I think.
You are?
That are also in the Ninja collection that have never been released before.
Yep. So there'll be 3 pairs of pants this year. And another product that is a redesign of something from the Ninja collection that never got launched. So you won't know what it is anyway, but when it comes out, you'll recognize it. And it is very appropriate for the collection of individuals that it speaks to.
Yes.
Someone made a comment, Trippin made the boots used in the Kelvin Star Trek films, so maybe beyond themed gear, question mark?
Trippin made some of the boots in the Kelvin Star Trek movies. The other company that made those boots
Just went out of
was
business. Pozu.
Pozu?
Ponzu?
I don't know.
They made Ray's boots from.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, sorry, wrong again.
Yeah, it's fine. It's got this. It's got that first word is the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the other one. The other company was iAware, who actually those boots.
Fluvog also made boots for.
Fluvog made Star Trek boots
Yeah.
for Strange New Worlds, but the
Yeah.
Kelvin movies are the ones with Chris Pine in them
Oh, thank you.
and Zachary Quinto.
Okay.
So Trippin made some of those, and then the Tom Hardy's Romulan Picard twin character wears the iAware Tabi boots that Virilis now sells.
Wow.
But so yeah, yes, maybe. What was the question again?
I
I was
don't know.
just I was just pulling out my nerd knowledge. I was just looking at the boots from the original Matrix movies, not the ones they wear in the Matrix, but the ones they wear on the Nebuchadnezzar on the ship, because they're awesome, and you never really see them on screen. And I was like, what are those boots? Can I get those boots?
Tell me, they're those landscaping boots from
They're not though.
Japan.
They're like those, but they actually were made by Airwalk, like Doc Martens, and they were like, and they have these straps on them. They were custom made by the Airwalk brand. Super cool.
Yeah, that was.
And the answer is no. You cannot buy them.
No.
You can buy.
tried.
Yeah, no. I found a listing on an auction site for one that like Neo, like that Keanu Reeves wore, but only the left boot was sold for $1,500.
Why
but-
would you only buy? I guess it's just
Because it's a
display
collector's
piece.
item.
Yeah,
It's not-
you don't
yeah.
even wear them.
Yeah,
Someone
but they're
asked,
sick.
Yeah, they sound sick.
It sounds strange, but I have not yet ordered from USA to Ukraine. Can someone explain how this works correctly?
I think if you put your address in, there should be no issue. We ship regularly all over the world. I'm sure we have shipped to the Ukraine before, and I don't think it's even all that expensive because we've just updated our rates to be a little bit less than they were before. So it's pretty easy. I wouldn't stress out about it too much. I would get insurance if you're concerned about it. Route shipping insurance is a couple of bucks. And it covers your whole purchase so that if it gets lost in the mail, we will replace it for you at no cost.
Yep.
Which is pretty nice.
Well, at the $2 cost of route shipping.
Yeah, the shipping insurance will
I'm
have.
sorry. To be clear.
Do you see what I have to live with?
Someone said, speaking of scraps, what about quilting together a scrap version of one of your pieces, like a rainbow Lego set?
We welcome you to do this, but we will not be doing this.
If you want the
you
fabric
want the
to do
scraps,
that
you
yourself,
can call us. We will send you some.
Someone said, Tron Ares trailer dropped. Thoughts?
did it just drop recently? Oh, I saw it a couple weeks ago. The one that dropped. It yes, I will see it. It looks awesome. I feel like there's some inspiration for a different way of doing the augment collection, like a different sort of sub-augment collection.
I've been wanting to put LEDs in clothes for a long time, but it's not that practical.
But even without the LEDs, the way they've designed the suits, they're less of the like long lines than they used to be, and there's a lot more like little lights, which could just be high contrast bar tacks all over the jacket,
Yeah.
and that could be a really awesome thing to do.
Yeah, cool.
Someone asked, how about gloves? Talons look cool, but I hate the cold and want to keep my fingers warm as well.
I think it's quite possible in the next year. It's certainly not on the calendar this year, but again,
was.
a number of the reasons we're moving overseas is because the capacities are much broader.
Yeah, it was on the calendar for this year up until a couple months ago, when we realized that we just weren't going to have an established relationship with the factory in time to make gloves.
Especially with all the changes that are going on. It's
Yeah, so it was on the
If you
calendar.
haven't-
We haven't done it yet. I really want to make gloves.
yeah.
If I had all of the resources in the world, I would make every combination that I could think of cut-off and non-cut-off fingered gloves.
Yes, you've told me this like independently, like over
I would
dinner
make
at
all-
some
I would
nice
make all of
restaurant.
them.
He's
I'd
like,
make-
we should make gloves with this finger missing, and then just this finger missing, and then these two fingers missing, and then these. So, and an archery glove and a non-archery
An
glove.
archery glove, a gambit glove.
Can you believe?
a Spider-Man glove, all
That's
the
too
options.
many gloves. It's too many gloves.
Every option. And little magnets to take off the little glove.
So there would just be little socks. So you'd
Yeah.
use the finger socks. You'd be having.
It'd be jointed with tiny little snaps. I don't know. I'm
It
trying to
sounds
figure it out.
insane. Honestly, it sounds like the gaming gloves that came up the other day, the power glove,
The power glove, yes.
except that the sections would be.
Well, it would probably look like that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That would be awesome.
So, if you haven't watched our new Game Plus sale, we would love for you to go and look at that. We are in the middle of like the global trade tariff tantrum meltdown. No, you don't like the short title?
No, that's right. It's only global because we made it global.
Yeah,
But
that's. Hey, we would love for you to watch the video. We are in a really weird transition between like a solid plan of making things overseas and domestically, and now we're working on trying to figure out how much of that plan is still viable, which factories might work with us, which factories really won't be an option, and it basically just it causes a lot of chaos. So even if like we're not in chaos, the factories take a lot longer to get back to us at the moment because they're dealing with so many
maybe.
people and variables that are changing.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mess, and so we're definitely in a little bit of a weird spot.
yeah.
And if you
Previously,
can
a lot of
support us by sharing, liking, commenting, or ordering, we would super appreciate that. It would really help us get through this summer.
I saw a post.
Sorry to kill the vibe.
It's fine. I saw a post earlier from somebody was being mad about their purchase from Temu because Temu added the charge separately, and previously they were just selling everything DDP, like including taxes, and now they've separated it out. And she was like, "This $19 dress is now $56. What is this crap? Like, what is this tariff charge?" And she's like, "Well, lady, I'm sorry to say, that's how this works. You pay for it. They don't."
Yeah, don't shop at Temu for lots of other reasons.
For lots of reasons. Yes. And there will never be a $20 dress that you could buy that was made in the United States.
Nor will there be a $20 dress that you could buy that wasn't ethically compromised somewhere along the line.
True enough.
There was definitely, it's just not. Anyway, we can get into that at another time. It's not possible to make a $20 product without some compromise.
Yeah.
Someone said, I'm sure you've been asked this before, but what's an obscure franchise or genre you would like to emulate or partner with that you haven't done so yet?
Custom bikes.
Custom.
I would like to make, so I've had this idea for a while.
Okay.
To do like a limited edition, like 12 custom bikes with 12 custom jackets that match the motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
Like a la Akira, but like maybe a few different versions. So there would be, you'd get like a sweet bike and
like
a sweet jacket.
There was a company that
Or
did
some like riding gear.
47 Ronin bikes.
Yeah.
And making Ronin jackets that were similar. That was a really awesome set.
Then they just were each cool and individual and unique, and like there was nothing like that would be so fun.
Yeah. That is obscure.
You got one?
No, I'm trying to think of one now, and I don't have one that maybe is as obscure as that.
Sorry, yeah.
I mean, I'm on the record saying that I would love to do a Soul Reaver something, if Soul Reaver ever comes back. Jet Set Radio, I don't think counts as obscure
It's
anymore,
not.
even though...
No, it was once, but no longer.
Yes. I think everybody knows what it is / was. But that's one that I
And
also
we discussed we need the chunky ass sneakers.
And that
that
we
go
need
with it.
chunky sneakers, and we need to figure out how to make things that look more like streetwear.
Yeah. Some great questions on this stream, guys. Thank you so much. That makes it much more. It makes it easier, certainly,
Yeah.
and it's fun to answer your questions.
Someone asked, what about an augment hat?
What about an augment hat?
I cannot picture one that isn't super dorky, but maybe I'm limited.
You have a hard time with that. Hats generally
Hats?
don't work.
I mean, but like think of the helmets. I mean, it's like
Yeah, but you could do. I feel like a like cyberpunk kind of helmet, but it's also a flat cap could work, or like a Scully cap.
I can't picture it. I can
Well, 'cause
picture a
that's got a
series
really
of
clean-
like click-in like facial adornments / augmentations.
Well,
but how does that
I'm not
become
sure
a
that
hat?
I'm not sure you've ever really bought into this idea, but I really wanted to make a kabuto, like a samurai helmet
No,
inspired.
No, I never
bucket
bought
hat?
into that idea.
I think it's just a bucket hat, but with another layer of brim that's like underneath and
Somebody
partial.
in our Discord had a samurai baseball cap.
I saw the samurai baseball cap. I've seen them on Instagram. They're very cool looking. The baseball cap is an interesting choice for that. I mean, it's also got like massive, like, yeah. I wasn't thinking of going that crazy. I was just thinking like Ashigaru cap, like a little one, and with the bucket hat brim, and then like another layer of bucket
With
hat
a little
brim.
mesh.
No, just
Not your basket head, like clay
no,
pot.
no, not the
head.
not the giant basket, which looks awesome, but I don't know how to do in a real thing. I'm just saying like a
I
basic.
can do it really right now. I really think you stick a pot on your.
The pot is
little-
different. That's from Elden Ring. That's a different thing altogether.
Whenever David gets to pick a new costume character, if he has a basket, if there's a
If
basket
there's a
option,
basket head, I will
He's-
definitely put
he
it
wears
on.
the basket head option. I'm just like, really? You have all these cool clothes and you've chosen to put a basket on your head? Why? Why? I don't understand. Why the basket?
The basket is so cool.
Why is the basket so... The basket is insane. It's like, go put
So
a
funny.
plant pot on your head. Like, why is the
It's not-
basket cool?
It's not a plant pot. It's
No,
a,
I know it's a. But why is it good? I don't get it.
Oh boy.
If you can explain this to me in the Discord in a better way than David has in the last 12 years, that would be very.
It's okay.
Because it's been a long-
it's the Ronin basket head. Like it's not, and there are different ones.
I'm sure you're right, but I just don't get it.
The like Yamabushi basket is really dumb looking, but the Ronin basket that has the sort of conical, it's basically a cone hat. It's basically a casa.
You know, you put cone hats on people when they misbehave in the dunce chair.
That's a different thing altogether. That's a different angle of cone.
Oh, I see. So it has to do with the cone angle.
It does. It absolutely does. And the width.
So the pointier the cone, the least cool.
Yes.
The wider the cone, the
better.
more cool.
Yes.
So a flat hat would really be the pinnacle of cool.
No, that gets
too wide.
into a different thing. That gets into
Those Korean like.
yeah, those. I mean,
There are some pretty sweet hats.
that's what I'm saying.
What did we just watch that had those really?
No, I was
good
thinking
hats in it?
Guinan. Guinan has that big flat.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
top tier cool. The-
Do you have any non-hat related questions that would really help us along here?
Okay, this question is related to hats.
Okay, all right, we'll take it.
How is a hat different from a hood?
What? It's so different. It's a standalone piece.
what? A hood could be a standalone piece.
Yeah, I know. We sell some standalone hoods. I think it's where it attaches to you. I think it's about main attachment point here versus main attachment point here.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
That's the difference. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I was trying to say like a hood you can take off and then put back on, but you can do that with like a gardening hat as long as it has
With
a
a
string
string, yeah.
underneath. And any hat that has a string underneath could be theoretically a hood because it goes around your entire head. I think a hood.
I will die before we end this conversation.
All right, let's see. We got a
What about a beekeeper's hat? That's like got a hood attachment.
Exactly. Well, that's almost got like a gorget thing going on.
Yeah.
Someone asked, any chance for a button-up?
Yes.
Yes, there is
Good
a chance for a
chances.
button-up.
Just not this year.
Just not this year.
Any plans for a Brotherhood of the Wolf Highwaymen jackets?
No.
I owned that jacket in high school. I bought the replica or the replica that Museum Replicas had.
And then you asked for more buckles.
No, that was a different jacket
Oh, excuse
that
me.
needed more buckles. The Highwayman coat.
Was that the one with the bib?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had the capelet and the collar that like laced up. Yeah, I had that one. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a cool coat. But no, we don't have plans to make one of those.
No, but a Highwayman coat could be a really awesome move for us. Kind of an extension on the idea of the Helsing. Just the Helsing
I mean, the
does
Helsing has some highwayman elements.
the Helsing
too.
does a lot of that. The way the collar buttons up all the way, it's kind of pretty.
There's some relation.
It was probably in the back of my head when I was thinking of designing the housing.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what are your thoughts and feelings of delving back into the worlds of bag/backpack/messenger bags?
I am working on that next. My plan is to do that this week. Is to really sort of do a deep dive into redesigning the operator system. We have a challenge, which is that the only place we can make bags well and at a good price
is in China.
In a good, at a good factory that actually can make
and
bags.
And it's going to make really good quality, great bags, like great quality bags.
So we have to wait for, in some ways, we have to wait for what's going on to sort of blow over. At some point, something has to give, and it's going to be us. But we have to sit here patiently and wait until that happens.
Right, and then we have to like figure out, do we keep developing products in that weird liminal
in that time? This liminal time that we're in?
Yes, this weird liminal time that we're in. Or,
But the fact is we want to do it, and there will be a way to do it. And so I want to redesign the operator system and have that be a staple.
I think the messenger bag was also a really solid design that we made a long time
I think
ago.
there's a lot of room for other designs beyond the operator system itself.
Yeah.
So
when you think of messenger bag, like I think of a couple of companies. They really look super different. Mm-hmm. I think of like Timbuktu. They make good bags. They're pretty like square. Mm-hmm. Do you think of anybody else in messenger bags? I don't know. I think of like Logitech or like computer bag companies that like make solid, practical.
Those are computer bags at this point. I feel like messenger bags have fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
Sort of in favor of either backpacks or shaman bags.
Take your pick.
And
by shaman bags, you mean like
bags?
a big old bag and nothing?
No. Like a shaman bag is like, it's like a small triangular shaped. It's kind of a chest bag that sits on your back.
Got it. Are they actually called shaman bags, or did you make that up?
Some people call them shaman bags. I don't know if it's the official term, but I've seen them
Sounds
called that in
sketchy.
multiple places.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean stuff you'd put, medicine in.
Yeah. No further comment.
Someone asked, have you done a Dune collection, and if not, would you?
Have we done it? No, we haven't
not.
done one. Would we?
Yes, we would do a Dune collection. Or we would do
our version of a Dune collection.
A non-licensed Dune collection, because it opens sort of. I don't think that we would do the sort of Fremen side of Dune.
No, I agree.
Demobaza
has that covered.
They got it.
And like, also, do you really want to walk around in a what are they called? Skin suit?
Still suits.
Still suit. Thank you. You don't want to walk around in a still suit.
No, it's a cool design, but
they look sweet, no question.
But no, that sort of side of it doesn't really suit our design sensibilities or manufacturing capacity.
Yeah.
Demobaza is kind of that thing.
It's kind of
but
their
I
aesthetic
think
already.
there are other stuff within, especially even Villeneuve. I don't know how to pronounce his name. His name is all French, and I don't know how to pronounce anything that's French.
Well,
the director of the current Dune movies.
okay, thank you. You just
first name is Denis. Yeah, that's what it sounds. That's what it looks like to me when I look at it. There's a lot of other stuff. The Atreides look really cool. The Sardaukar armor is really awesome. Even the Harkonnen, like kind of bug-shaped stuff. It's all very cool. I think there's a lot of really good design in that universe.
Definitely. I think that the visual language of those films in general is really exciting.
Yeah.
Agree. We're not going to do bugs or sand people.
Bugs? No worms?
No worm-inspired coats. No danger there. There will be no sandworm-inspired coats. Although that actually would be a sweet collar.
It's just the Wraith. We haven't done the Wraith in a long time.
We'd have to do some teeth, and then I think would sort of change the impact.
You
would go from cool to slightly,
just
slightly in the
frill,
middle of
like
the
just in-pointing frill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe multiple layers of it.
It kind of makes you the parasite, though. Like if you put the hood up and you're just like, hi, and there are all these teeth.
Yeah.
And like.
No, you're being swallowed by the worm.
Well, yeah, but you're like the bug that lives inside the worm. I don't know. You're like
because there's a happy symbiosis between you and your jacket.
That's what it looks like in my mind.
Okay.
Mind's eye. Thank you for going on that funny little journey with me.
Yes. This is why I have to make designs. I cannot explain the idea to
That's
Will.
not true. You are often able to pitch a concept.
Yes,
and-
and you go, sounds great, make one so I can see it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your mind's eye just goes, that feels like you're the parasite inside the world.
That's not what I say about any of your design concepts. Thank you very much.
All right, here we go. We got, so in the last stream, you mentioned that we won't go back to Middle Earth
Mm-hmm.
and believe others make a Middle Earth / similar style as well. Do you have any partners / friends or vendors that you'd recommend?
There's the...
Shire Post Mint makes a fabulous collection of coins and stamps and things.
Yeah, so
I don't actually think there is something exactly like that out there.
Not like what we did.
No.
It's more of the Ren Fair sort of thing.
Yeah, there are Ren Fairy.
There was a challenge of like what you want, like in order to be really faithful to the
Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings, you kind of need to go fantasy to a point that makes it really difficult to have it be also streetwear. That was the challenge that I had in designing that collection. So, but if you are willing to go more fantasy, then things like Maresca.
Yeah, Maresca makes great stuff, and they're U.S. made.
What was
They're in upstate New York somewhere.
There's another company that is currently doing a D&D collection. I think they're called the Bergenhof.
I don't remember that one.
They have a D&D collection. They make mostly costumes for like LARP, but they make really nice stuff. They have a currently running D&D collection. You can probably find them through Google searching that. But I think it's Bergenhof. I think they are German, but they do sell to the United States. And they have like a cleric and a paladin, and they have a bunch of different like sort of sets that all come together into one thing.
Cool.
Someone asked, might pronounce this wrong. Kanita's jacket from Akira seems like a natural fit for you guys. Have you considered more anime stuff similar to that?
Yes.
We pursued Akira specifically for the Kaneda jacket. The creator is apparently very picky.
Persnickety.
It's like, because even if you just say like, we have to put the pill on the back, he's like, the pill wasn't on the back in the manga. And it's like, yeah, but that's what people recognize, bud. That's what people see. So that's the challenge sometimes. I have a Kaneda jacket that a take on Kaneda jacket I've been wanting to make it for a very long time. That has never quite been in the budget it hasn't quite hit the right price point because the level of detail that I would like to do.
It's going to be hard and complicated and expensive.
It's buckles.
That's the one with all those great buckles.
It has great buckles. It's actually what we bought. The buckles that we used for the Sekko jacket were bought because I wanted to make a Kaneda jacket. Fun
and then
fact.
they didn't.
And then we never did it.
Yeah, I think there was some other.
It just felt like a short sort of moto jacket. At the time, we had enough of those, and we didn't do it. And this would be a more expensive one.
We do
and
try
instead
and
we sort of-
balance out like short jackets, long jackets, vests, shirts, gear, accessories, stuff. It's not perfect, but
and
we
then
do try and kind of.
We did the Redgrave moto, and that felt like it was too close to what the design for the Kaneda jacket.
Yeah, that's kind of when it was timeline-wise when
Yeah.
it was designed. Yeah, there are a lot of designs that get made that never hit the light of day because for one reason or another, it's not the right moment.
Yeah. In terms of anime, though, I have been thinking about how to expand, how to get into anime again. I think that's something we haven't really tapped into. A lot of the time and a lot of the anime that I would want to work with, because I haven't watched more recent anime, are older.
Are you trying to say that you're old?
I'm trying to say not only that I'm old, but I don't want to be doing things that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I usually, the collaborations that we choose are things that that we are personally attached to.
In some way, yeah.
Because we feel like that helps us make a more authentic, real product for the people who want the thing maybe in a similar way than how I want it. And because if we release something that we don't understand and somebody's like, that's wrong because of this reason, we can't be, no, actually we did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We more have to be like, well, all right, sorry.
No, I don't think, anyway.
Well, but that's what that's part of it. Is like, I don't want to be doing something and like sort of stepping on your parade, like if I don't understand it. So.
All right, so
yeah,
maybe we could take 2 more questions and then we'll call it.
we'll take more questions on the Discord.
On the Discord.
Okay, so we have, any thought about bringing back the ninja shirt or something similar? My husband and I both wear them, and the heavy knit is wonderful.
It is wonderful. It's a nice material.
Yes.
Short version is yes. We
Something
won't-
I really want to do, and we've been working with a new factory. We have some other stuff that are ahead of that in line, but I would like to sort of revisit that idea.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice heavy shirt, and I think it's time to bring back something like that.
And last one we got, I'm sorry, I know you are asked often, but what crazy things would need to happen for you to make safety-rated motorcycle jackets?
Do you know the answer to this question?
I do know some of the answers to this question, although I suspect it is more complex than even I am fully aware of. So anything you go out and risk your life in is a certain level of investment for us to know that I am uncomfortable, let me just say, putting you in a piece of clothing that you risk your life in that hasn't been specifically engineered for that purpose. So while we could make the housing for the armor, we will never be the armor makers.
Yeah, well, we
Safe
wouldn't
to say?
even if we didn't have to do that. The safety rating is a part of it.
Yeah.
It's an entire business model.
Right.
We would have
It's
to
a
be
different
designing.
business
Yeah, we would
than
have
the
to be
one we
designing
currently do.
around that. We would have to understand more about it. The crazy things that have to happen in order to be making stuff like that is really to just be entirely focused on that.
Yeah. You don't have like a whole nother brain we could just put into a little jar somewhere to do that.
To have a couple, it's like you just need to be doing that, and then you need to be doing that all the time because you've
And
already
only
spent all the
that.
time, and you understand the market, and you understand the way the ratings work, and how to go through the process
Right.
of getting all getting all
Yeah.
that stuff together. Like
Yeah.
it's just not feasible for us.
At this time.
I mean, I can't
If
say
we had the
never.
investment money for a couple years of process and work, we would totally do it. If you want to be our patron,
I can't say never, but we would probably want to make gloves and shoes first.
yeah, gloves and shoes first. Yep.
It's maybe on the long list.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. We have just been doing a Rare Finds and Oddities stream where we discussed very little about Rare Finds and Oddities, but it was great fun anyway. Thank you for joining us. If you live under a rock, we are doing Rare Finds, which is where you can order some pieces from our website that are either super unique or have some small defect. The other thing that's going on at the moment is our...
The rest of this sale, there's one more drop of new stuff in roughly 10 minutes. And that'll be all the drops. They will all stay up on our website until noon tomorrow Eastern time, at which point they will go back into the vault, whatever doesn't sell, and it'll come, they'll come back probably, whatever hasn't sold will come back in November with whatever new stuff comes in.
Yep.
But meanwhile, we are continuing to do our New Game Plus sale.
Yes, tell us about that.
We are currently selling, we're doing a massive, basically a warehouse sale. It's come to our attention that the economy is in flux. And in short,
It's come to our attention. It's
That's
been
how-
pounded
that-
through the news day after day that the
people,
world
that's
is
how
maybe
people talk.
ending.
That's how people have been writing it. Like I've been
It has
seeing.
come to our attention that we may be on fire.
Have you seen all of those like tariff notifications from other manufacturers? And they all say like we've come to realize that this is going to be a hard time. And it's like, yeah.
No fucking way.
It's like, what are the first 4 words that you put in like the beginning of that? It's like, how do you start this, guys? This is fucked.
gonna be weird.
But
Buckle your seatbelts.
in short, we have stuff in our warehouse because we don't like to discount things.
Yeah.
We historically have always kept things. We don't keep discount. We don't actually price our stuff up as high as our prices are.
Yep.
It is not marked up so that we have a massive margin.
Yep.
And because of that, we don't discount our prices. Those things usually stay on our warehouse. It's a long game that we've played.
Yeah.
We keep them in there, and they sell over time, and they keep us going, and they sustain us over time.
Right.
Right now, we don't have necessarily that time.
Yeah.
And we could really benefit from the flexibility of that
Capital.
inventory being capital.
Yep.
That's the short of it. This is straight up, if we have cash, you know, if
We have choices. We can
have
say,
choices.
okay, we're going to make this op system in a really small batch.
Yeah.
And then pre-order a larger amount with the understanding that blah, blah, blah will change or not. Or, you know, it just gives us the option to make adjustments.
Yeah, we need to be able to be more flexible in this time as things are in flux.
Changing almost daily.
And so that is the purpose of this goal and of this sale.
And we super appreciate you if you've already ordered something from the sale. If you would be willing to send a review to your friends, we have an affiliate program. We would be happy to reward you for your work. We would super appreciate your putting us in your stories or just making it more known who we are, what we do, and why you think what we do is worth considering or talking about.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest request for sharing and for spreading the word since 2020.
Yeah.
That was obviously a big time for that.
Obviously, COVID changed everything again.
And now, if you can help us with that again, we would be incredibly appreciative.
Yeah. Us and our staff would be so grateful. All right.
Thank you for joining us. On that note.
On that cheerful note, I think we'll call it a day.
Yeah, we'll see you.
You're welcome always to join us in our Discord or in our comment sections. We love to chat with you. So, ta-ta!